Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of markrushtongallery.com. And it is Wednesday evening, October 26th. And we're almost into November 2022. And this video is called Mark Rushton Prepares Paper Artworks for Photos. So what I'm going to do in here is I've got a bunch of finished artworks. I need to go and kind of size them up on the what do they call that stuff? They call it the cardstock. I put it against cardstock. I'll talk about that here in a second, and tape it down with the Tyvek tape here, and essentially just kind of prepare it for being photographed, which I might do later. I'm not going to do that on video because that's quite a process there, and I don't have enough mats right now to mat every single artwork. But I will. That's down the road. And honestly, this Studio One here is really coming together. Just kind of getting everything organized and reorganized, disorganized, and reorganized. And so it's better than it was. And I've thrown some things out and got some things sort of separated. So that's good. So it is a little water with ice. And of course, every evening enjoying my lovely kefir, which of course is fermented milk, Kelowna Supernaturals, organic vanilla flavored kefir. Good for those Amish and Mennonite grown milk cow, grass fed, beautiful, lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. I should bring the bottle. I'll bring the bottle down tomorrow. That stuff is just delicious. Good for the gut health. Gut health equals brain health. You can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. So this evening I had planned to be out, and I was for a while, and a movie theater in the area was playing Vertigo, Wednesday only. And it's like, well, I'm not going to miss that. I think I saw the last time I saw Vertigo when it was re-released back in 1983, and I saw it in 84, and I don't think I've really seen it since then. I'm more of a Rear Window fan than Vertigo, but anyway, went to the movie theater and they had a problem with the sound system, and unfortunately they gave us free passes. Couldn't be fixed, and came home and decided to go to plan B here, which is let's work on these here, right? And so this was this is the dentist and his daughter, and this is a thermal printed photo collage with acrylic ink. It's also on synthetic paper. It's a little ropey, but I kind of like it. It's kind of whimsical. It's a little outside my wheelhouse, but I like it. What can I say there? And we got the piece there centered on the cardstock, and then kind of how I want to have it just with the mat board. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And I guess I need to give this a title, right? I'm dentist and daughter. Yeah, we'll call it dentist and daughter because that makes sense. That's what the models were, the dentist and the daughter, right? So that's good to go. A whole bunch of these here. Love this. It's 8x10 cardstock. 8x10 cardstock. I got a little extra light here tonight. I don't really know if that's showing up there on the screen or not. That's good. And got some paintings here. This is a little. This one's been sitting around for a while. I think that's perfectly good when you mask it off like that. That looks pretty good, I think. Oh, we got people showing up tonight. Hi, everybody. We got one from YouTube and one from Twitch. That's great. Great. I love this because it's kind of it's sort of my landscape sort of thing. This is acrylic paint on watercolor paper, and you get the nice good focal point there. And then how I like to do things, which is probably wrong. I don't care. I like to tape the artwork to the cardstock. I know some people like to use foam core. I like cardstock because it's thinner, and when you put it in certain frames, it sits pretty good in there. And so a little bit of Tyvek tape here. Don't move it too much. I only like to put it on the top. So I like the artwork to that was taught me a long time ago. So you put that in there, and that just lets the artwork hang, and then it doesn't become bunched up or anything like that. That's what I was taught. What do I know, huh? What do you know? I don't have a name for this, so this is going to go in the unnamed pile. I can't name things that fast. We'll get around to it. So yeah, it was a bummer. Couldn't see Vertigo. They play like the older movies on Wednesdays, and unfortunately now the older movies are things that I saw when I was a kid. It was like what's coming up? Lethal Weapon, right? It's like Lethal Weapon is an oldie. I guess it is. It's like a 35-year-old movie, right? Mel Gibson. Who knew, right? And what was Scrooged, right? Scrooged is now like apparently a classic. Although, honestly, I kind of wish like next spring they would, there is always this joke, that they should announce that Groundhog Day 2 is going to be released, and then they just re-release the original movie. Always thought that was a clever joke, right? I think that's a meme. I like memes. You know why? Because I have a sense of humor. I try to anyway. So sorry, kids. This is worth saving, I think. Acrylic, a little bit darker. Acrylic ink on synthetic paper. What do you think, Rushton? It is what it is. Oh, dang it. Dang it. Dang it. Every time I hear the word dang it, there's somebody I knew a long time ago used to say, dang it, Mark. Very, very Kansas City phrase. Dang it. Maybe other parts of the country say dang it. What? Oh, look at this here. I got a comment. Hi, Becky. Thanks for subscribing to the Instagram. I just saw. I got the notification of that. What is synthetic paper made from? Let me tell you about synthetic paper. I'm gonna have a little diversion here when I talk about the synthetic paper. So there you go. There's that. All right, that looks good. I'm not going to name that right now. Okay, so let me bring over a piece of the synthetic paper. Show you what it looks like. And so this is, I got a roll of it too, and I'm gonna just kind of pluck it under the camera. Where did I put that? Where is my roll of? Ah, here it is. So 30 years ago, maybe it was more than 30 years ago, I was a poor art school student, and I wandered into the Dick Blick store in Kansas City. I think it was on 39th Street at the time. It might still be there. And I was going to Kansas City Art Institute, and they had a roll of this stuff. And so this is spun bonded olefin. And they had like a end roll of it, and it was like super cheap, and I was broke. And so I bought some, and I loved painting on it with acrylic paint. And then a few years ago, I discovered using acrylic ink on it was even better. And so that way, I was able to achieve, and let me pull something out of the catalog here. I was able to eventually, I'll just show you what I made last night here. It's very dark and monochromatic, but something like this with acrylic ink. And so, and I'll talk a little bit more here. And then, you know, that's the dark part of it, but there's some really good colorful ones here too. This needs to be put on. And I tend to go with the landscape motif on that sort of thing. So spun bonded olefin is a product that was discovered as a waste byproduct in the 1950s by somebody who worked for DuPont. And it was a waste byproduct. And it took them, I don't know, 12 or 13 years to kind of formulate it so that you could turn it into a particular type of product. And so that's what eventually became Tyvek. And of course, there's many different types of Tyvek out there. And like yeah, I do too. They're really neat. But whoa, they're hard to control. I gotta say they're hard to control. But so now we know Tyvek from like house wrap. And they also use it for PPE, for like clean rooms and things like that. Signage. This is mainly a type of a signage paper. A lot of people use it for Cricut for stencils. They'll have the Cricut cut things, and then they use it as a stencil because it can be used over and over again. It's really quite durable. Here's the other great thing about Tyvek. Now, I say it's Tyvek, but there's so many different variants of it, so that you have to use it's spun bonded olefin, OLEFIN. And so I've been working with it like nearly 30 years. And the great thing about Tyvek is that, God, there's so many good things about it. So it's archival, it's mold resistant, and it's recyclable. And the cool thing about it is the little bonds in there, the fibers in there are they're all unique. So each one is different. So if you work a particular paper, you get that grain. Well, you can do this sort of thing with a watercolor paper as well, or any sort of drawing paper. But the grains are so pronounced in there. And then if depending on whether you use acrylic ink, acrylic paint, you layer it, you do a reductive technique or whatever, you can bring out those grains. And of course, with ink, it's more difficult because once you've kind of put ink down, it's it's very permanent. So if you mess it up, I have to go and put acrylic paint down on it or repaint it or throw it away or whatever. But usually I just repurpose it, use it a different way. So yeah, if you look at DuPont Tyvek, they have a giant PDF and sheet out there on usage. What's the other thing? What's the other thing about it? Oh, so they also make Tyvek tape. Now, the thing about Tyvek is you have to be very, very, very careful with how it is adhered. So it's, if you took this to a printer, if you took this to if I can get that off there. See, I will just put like tape here in the corners, but that's because we don't really care about that section. So if you take and I have, hold on here. I have larger ones here too, much bigger, that are absolutely, they're a little ridiculous. And I kind of realized eventually I realized the limitation of the size limitation of this. And the reason is that mounting. And let me talk about mounting Tyvek and why it's so difficult. So, and I'm working on remounting and my smaller pieces. But Tyvek is not like, canvas or, careful there. It's not like canvas or watercolor paper or anything like that. So that's why I do this sort of thing here, where I place this on here. Mask it off like this. Let's get that up there. And then put the Tyvek tape up here. Now, if you took this to a framer, what they're going to do, and let me see if I get an example here. They're going to want to adhere it to something, usually like a foam core or like a cradled wood panel, basswood of something like that. And what they'll do is they'll put solvent-based adhesive on there and put this on here, adhere it on there, and within a month the artwork will be ruined. It will do what's called blistering. And the reason it does that is because Tyvek reacts very poorly to solvent-based adhesives. You have to use a starch-based adhesive. Way too much of it around here. And an example of a starch-based adhesive would be Yes Paste. I don't know why I bought something that big. Oh, I'll just buy $60 worth of Yes Paste, right? So that's so, and I learned that the hard way. I had a large piece two large pieces back in the 1990s, framed at a professional framer, and I did not know about that limitation of Tyvek because that was like pre-internet, right? So they didn't have like PDFs sitting around or anything. And now you can go out there and download it. It's got all the information that you would need. And it's pretty cool. So I learned the hard way. That was kind of an expensive lesson. And then just even, this is further west. Better write the name down on here. And just even trying to scale these up was extremely difficult for me. And so that's why I tend to go with smaller paintings for this, because they're neat. The big ones they're just difficult. They're very difficult to mount and frame and everything like that. And do I have anything else around here that I wanted to show? So I like working small and either scanning them or just, in this case, just mounting them to what is this stuff here called? Cardstock. Cardstock. Cheers. Thanks, Becky. Yeah, lovely effects. Lovely effects. And but some of them, you know, I'm just not. Some of these that I've made, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. So I'm trying to transfer them over from my old method, which was pour, over to a better, more sale friendly situation, because things have changed here in the last couple of years for me. You know, I'm not in galleries anymore, and I got to get these into my own store. And so it's a matter of getting them ready for taking pictures and putting them on the site and promotion and all that. And so, you know, when I see something like this here, it's I just think, you know, like I'm driving down the highway, I'm looking over, you've got like a, you know, a changing soybean field or a cornfield or something, barley, I don't know. It's just kind of otherworldly and pretty. And I've got so many of them. It's absolutely crazy. And what is it about artists? You know, like we just keep making the same painting over and over again, and it's okay. I mean, look at Cezanne. He did that same mountain over and over and over again. That's all right. He just hanging out with me, checking out my process there. Oh, that looks good. Not everything has to be different. It just has to be. By the way, I cleaned this earlier today. Whoa, it's kind of a mess with the vine charcoal. That's nice, but I think, I wonder if we can get this into a larger. This is 6x9 opening. Let's get the seam. It's been This is the thing that sucks. But what about there? Can I get away with that? So I don't want that seam in there. Yes, this can be salvaged. There's the seam, and then you just up here. So how does this need to sit? This is always the most difficult part. All right. I wish I had like the fabric cutter thing down here. Hold on, we got more comments. I heard you mention Kansas City. Yes, I lived in Kansas City for 7 years. I lived there in the 86, 87. And then I went to school at Kansas City Art Institute from 91 to 93. And then I continued working at what's now American Century Mutual Funds until 96. And so, and I think I can go and cut this part here. I think we're good. Can be easily cut. Let's get that on there straight. Yeah, Kansas City. So I lived in North Kansas City for a while. Actually, I first moved there. I lived down at 905 Jefferson, which is on Lewis and Clark Point. I lived in the Roach Motel. And then I moved down to North Kansas City. And then when I was going to school at Kansas City Art Institute, we lived in West Plaza, which was much cheaper than it is today. Really, it was just cheap living over there. It was good. Why did we move? Why did we move out of Kansas City? I guess we thought, well, we'll move back to Iowa. We moved around a bit, but salvaged it there. That's good. That's a good piece. Love the way that looks there. How many of these am I gonna do today? I don't know. It's kind of fun. Hanging out, chatting. It's great. I got a little one here. That one's cute, but it's too small. So what I got to do is I got to find. Where's the little one? So now what I'm going to be doing here is I think that's not going to work. So I got this is the 5x7 with the 3x5 opening. This will be I'll have to transfer this over to, I got a little section here. I got a little pile just for 3x5s. Oh, here they are. Let me show off some of the smaller pieces that I've made. I did this the other night, but probably don't have the same people in the live stream here. So I make smaller photo collages with the Pulley printer, the thermal printer, and then I go and print off those photographs and then sort of colorize them and put them on here. And then I just scan like this section here, and I can scan that at extremely high resolution, and I could turn those into prints. But I'm thinking about selling these also as originals. So this would be like, it's very odd. It's kind of my first attempts at them. I would have to do something like that, but your stargazer lily, is that what that is? And then a little bit on that's terrible. That needs to be reworked, but that's a self-portrait. Trying on new glasses. I ended up not buying glasses at that place because they were jerks. And photo from the outside of our old house. And then sometimes I would take pictures. Like last year, I would take pictures of from the webcams. So this gal was on Deriva Street in Odessa, Ukraine. And this was probably about 14 months ago. The cameras have been shut off since the war started, but there are always people out there just milling about. It's kind of a college town area, Deriva Street, right on the sea there. And this blonde would always be out there with her white horse, and she was just, obviously very pretty, but the horse is even prettier, And so I would do that. I like to kind of like take photos of webcams and stuff like that. You just print out the little photo, and then you just kind of work around it. And here's another one from Deriba Street. So this lady was out. She was an artist. She's an artist, and she was out there doing portraits or something like that. It was 1 a.m. Local time, and this college kid with the backpack is wandering by and taking a look. And these are like the outdoor restaurants and stuff. And the Deribas is like the walkway. It was like like a promenade or whatever. And so those are like the smalls. Those are the smalls that I got. That I work. I kind of do a combination of synthetic paper and the thermal printed black and white paper from the Pooley printer. This thing's fun. So back to the task at hand here. Let's see how this looks here. No, this is going in the rework pile. And then there's Rothko. It is a little Rothko-ish. I would have to say, it is a bit on the Rothko side. Although he was all those floating rectangles and stuff. And then when I lived in Houston for not quite a year, I went to the DeMille Gallery or whatever. It's the 14 black paintings that he did just before he slit his wrists. And I went there a number of times, and that was pretty cool. You go in there, even though there's a lot of people in there just kind of sitting around. You can see it's dark in there, and you can see a little bit of variation in the black paintings. It's mainly, it's almost kind of like, it has the qualities of like Ed Reinhardt or a little Barney Newman, but black, and certainly very neat. Yeah, this is in the neighborhood. That's I'm undecided about that. Let's see what else we got. Remoteness. Yeah, I like that. Look how I did. Look at this. Just these tape. What in the world was I thinking? Regular tape. No, what was I thinking? Pull all that off. Oh, careful. Careful. What am I doing? Oh, here it is. That's got enough vibrancy there. Yeah. I think. I'm sure. Grand plan. What are we up to? 35 minutes. My gosh, this is great. I've been able to get a lot of work done. Of course, I like to talk about I do enjoy talking about the substrates and the process and you know, because I got quite a history with this. And really, you know, I could just sign my name. I've been trying to figure this out for just years and decades, and I kind of am where I am. Did the furnace just try to kick on? I'm not sure. All right, let's see if we got anything else here. This is just I don't know about that. I have so many works in progress. It's kind of frightening. That's wonderful, but that's wrong size. All right. I think I've run the course here for tonight. I think I'm going to call it here at 36 minutes. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks Becky for your questions and your kind comments. Very nice. So yeah, I'm Mark Rushton of markrushtongallery.com, and I'll be adding more things here very, very soon. I've got you know, just books and books and books of this stuff here. And if you could see around the studio here, I've got many other larger pieces that I'm going to be adding and photographing very soon. So anyway, that's it for this evening. Thank you so much for showing up, and I'll probably be back tomorrow night. Talk to you later.